Shalom. I hope everybody's having a good day wherever you're at. I've been doing some thing in the last few days, and I wanted to cover a topic that a lot of people still get confused either by their own self-delusion, not studying and reading the scriptures, or they're being seduced and manipulated by false teachers. And it has been prophesied, the closer we get to the end times, the greater the frequency that false prophets and false teachers would arise. And one of the biggest things that I've seen and I've noticed are people that they don't fully understand what's written in the Bible if they're even reading it at all. There are a lot of people out there that want to pick and choose what to read out of the Bible and refuse to accept other things. Maybe it's because they're in self-denial. I'm not entirely sure. But people seem to want to only talk about what makes them feel good about themselves. They don't want to hear the hard truth. It's just like an example that I heard the other day, that you got two different versions of Yeshua that is floating around in society. You've got one group that knows the true Yeshua, that understands the message that he preached in his ministry, and knows that he was not playing games. And then you've got the other group, which this analogy was used, but you get essentially the Starbucks version of Yeshua that is sitting there drinking his cafe mochaccino. And that second version is not the right version. It is not this peace, love, singing kumbaya version of Yeshua. That is right there. If you look at the Messiah in that fashion, and you think of the God of Israel in that way, you're worshiping a false God. Now you're into idolatry on a different level. So I'm going to go ahead, and there's some passages that I'm going to read off from what's written out of the Bible. And it couldn't be made any more clear than this. There are people out there that, Yahweh, the God of Israel, he does not love everybody equally. He does not love you the way you are, and he loves those who do what he tells them to do, and those who respect him and obey, not those who pray a prayer once and say, I've sinned, forgive me, and think they're saved. You are so wrong. Those who sit there and think that they can go and still commit acts of infidelity, commit sin, do drugs, go steal, rob, cheat, lie, and so forth. He doesn't love you the way you are, trust me. And what's written attests to that. Book of Psalms, Psalm 5 verses 4 and 5. For you are not an Elohim who delights in wickedness. Evil does not sojourn with you. The boastful shall not stand before your eyes. You hate all workers of iniquity. So this says it very clearly right here. He hates sin. Sin cannot abide in his presence. And he hates all those who commit iniquity. Period. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. And so if you think you can commit acts of iniquity and he's still going to love you, you are sorely mistaken. Right here in Psalm chapter 11. Yahweh tests the righteous, but the wicked and the one who loves violence, his soul hates. So he does not love those who commit sins like this. He hates them. He hates them. So that does not mean that he loves you. He hates you and the sin you commit. And transitioning over into the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, starting in verse 9 and going through verse 10. The heart is more deceitful than all else and desperately sick. Who can know it? I, Yahweh, search the heart and test the mind, even to give each man according to his ways, according to the fruit of his deeds. So somebody who is living a life of sin and they get called on it and they say, oh yeah, Yahweh, he knows my heart. He knows me. Yeah, you're right. This right here says that he knows you. He searches the heart and tests the mind. So just like Yeshua said to the Pharisees, who said that on the outside they were beautiful, but inward they were filled with old men's bones and all corruption. The inside has to be clean. The outside gets polished and cleaned up last. It's just like also he said in the book of Mark that it's not what goes into a man that defiles him, because it's what comes out of him, what comes from his heart, from the inside, that defiles him. So it's going to come from the heart inside of you, who you are, what kind of person you are truly. You can have the appearance on the outside, but inwardly it's not the same. It's being double-minded. It's a wolf in sheep's clothing. The inner wolf wears sheep's clothing and appears like a sheep on the outside, but inwardly is evil. So I just wanted to take the time to, put this message out there, and hopefully it will cause some people to sit and think and reflect on it. So with that, have a blessed day. Shalom.